Hi, welcome to the show. I'm Judy Morano, and today I'm here with Joann Zwolski.
Nice to be here. Very nice to be here.
Thank you. So Joann is an artist, a local artist, and I want to talk about you and your work and all the cool stuff that you do.
Okay.
So let's start with, you live in
I live in Putnam Valley.
Putnam Valley? Okay, have you been there all your life?
Well, for the past 41 years.
That's a long time.
Yeah, it's for a little while, yeah. It was going to be a starter home, and it ended up being a retirement home, you know, and it's, we know where to go.
Okay, good, good. And you've always been an artist?
Yes.
This was your career?
Yes. I was an art teacher for over 36 years with Lakeland School District. I taught K through 12, depending upon the different years that there were. And I retired about 9 years ago, became full-time in my art. During the time I taught, I also
Were you also working on your own personal?
I showed too,
Yeah.
not as much as I do now. And I didn't have as much time. And now I teach drawing to adults through Lakeland Adult Education.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I'm also on the Board of Trustees of the Putnam Arts Council.
Wow, you're a busy woman.
I keep a little busy.
So you teach drawing, but yet I'm looking at your art right now. We're going to talk about this in a few minutes, but it's not drawing.
No, it's not. No, this piece is a new series that I'm working on. It's based totally on abstraction.
Okay.
I'm interested in the interplay of line, color, and shape, and texture. I love texture.
Okay.
So totally abstraction. I don't know where I'm going to begin. I don't want to know where I'm going to begin. I want the piece to communicate to me. I want my marks and my colors to interact and see what will happen.
And do you pick the colors before you start?
Sometimes yes and sometimes no. It all depends upon, when I work several different series at one time. And so that
always amazes me.
So they interrelate with each other. So they have a common thread. Even though they have different themes, they have a common thread.
Okay. So for instance, what are 3 themes you're working on right now?
Right now, I'm working on a red series that is totally based on landscapes.
Okay.
And I'm working on a tree series that is based on vertical lines.
Okay.
This is all my acrylic work.
Okay.
I do watercolor also and I also do painted collage. So that's a whole different ballgame.
Okay, so let's focus on this. This is a
Yes.
series. Now, what is the name of this series?
This series is Mysterious Layers.
Okay, and I noticed there's a lot of texture going on.
Yes.
How are you getting texture?
Well, this texture is achieved this piece unto itself is achieved, the texture is achieved through shape. Large, small shapes by repetition. It creates an implied texture. It's also achieved through line, through layering.
Yeah, I was going to say there's some layering going on right in here.
A lot of layering. This piece does not have. Sometimes some of my other pieces have thick layers of paint on it, and I scratch into them, and it creates a texture.
So when you started, did you pick a generalized color to start with and then kept layering different colors on top? Is that how
when I start randomly, I just start.
You just wake up and you say, I'm starting a new series today.
Well, it just evolves. This one sort of evolved. This total abstraction. As I said, I have another series that's called the Red Series, and it's landscape-based. So this I find by doing abstraction, it helps me in my other work.
How so?
Because I work primarily with the art elements, and I work with composition, and so it helps me in developing the composition in my other work. My other work is based on the landscape. I paint en plein air. I paint outdoors. We live in a gorgeous area, the Hudson Valley area. Yeah. So I paint with a group of painters called the Hudson Valley en plein air, Lower Hudson Valley en plein air painters, and we meet several times throughout
where do you go?
We go all along the Hudson River.
Wow.
You know, Peekskill, Cold Springs, Beacon, Poughkeepsie, all along the Hudson River. and I do watercolor studies of that. Then I bring, and so that my red series is based on that. But this Mysterious Layers series is based totally on abstraction. I don't want to impose any subject matter to my work. I want, although all of me becomes part of it, all of my experience becomes part of it. I love line. I love spontaneity. I like dancing lines, gestural lines, and I like my lines to express energy. So.
And what is the mood? Like, what do you want me to feel? Are you trying to get me to feel something here?
Well,
I mean, I do. I'm not. Not that I don't feel anything. I totally do.
We
But
always
I'm
want
just
you to feel
wondering
something.
if there's like, are you looking for my eye to go someplace particular? Are you looking for an emotion from this?
Well, I'm looking for what you want to see.
Okay.
I'm not trying to impose what you want to see. I'm not, that's the whole thing about this abstraction.
I see.
There are times it's total abstraction. I'm not trying to impose any part of it. There are moods that will come through in the work as you look at it.
Yeah.
And as you look at, and I love to hear what people say about when they react to it and what they see, because it helps me to see a little differently.
Right.
You know?
And not everyone's going to see the same thing, obviously.
Exactly,
Right.
which is the joy of total abstraction.
Right, right.
Of course, I have a mood that I'm working with. I like to project a lot of. I love joy.
That's what I like about your
life
work.
is
To me,
joyous.
it screams joy.
Life is joyous.
Yes.
Especially when I'm painting, you know, and creating in art.
Do you find that there are times where you can, let's say you're in the middle of a painting and you approach it and go, I'm just not feeling it today. Does that happen?
Yeah, very often. Very often. So I'll take out my favorite color, and that is red. And red energizes me. It brings me lots of joy, and so I'll just. All of a sudden, everything in the whether it wants it or not, it will
It's
have
getting
some red. It might have lots of red. It might have just little sprinkles of red. It might have just a touch of red. But everything all of a sudden has red, and then I'm ready to begin again. You know, so
And how many pieces do you have right now that you're working on?
all in all the series.
Yeah, like actively in the middle of something? How many are you actively in the middle of?
I'm actively in the middle of the 3 series that I'm working on.
And is there one piece from each of those? One.
I'm working on, from my red abstraction, I have 3 pieces I'm working on. For this one, I just completed 14 of them, 12 of which I will show. And for the tree series, which sort of just began, I have, I would say about 9 to 12, 9 that I think are finished and 12 that are close to being finished.
Wow.
Yeah, I try to work every day. My day begins with drawing. Drawing to me is the foundation.
Were you trained as a, did you begin by drawing or did you begin by painting? What was your first pull to art?
I drew all the time. Okay. Yeah, so
Were you the kid with the scrapbook
with
that
the
you were
scrapbook,
always
yes.
doing? Yeah.
I
Okay.
even drew on my father's blue car. I got in trouble for that one when I was a kid, but he wasn't too thrilled with that. But yeah,
I could see that, yeah.
I draw. Drawing helps me to see, which to me is so important. And I will draw 1 to 2 hours every morning.
Whatever strikes you.
Well, I work a lot in my sketchbook. I just completed a series of drawings called Marks and Circles, and some of those will be in this show. They have a similarity to this, but there is no acrylic paint with them.
Okay.
It's more watercolor and lots of drawing tools.
So it's just a lot of discipline to sit down every day and say, I'm going to draw for 2 hours.
It's discipline and joy.
Yeah.
I just love it. Right now I'm working with the masters. I am doing a sketchbook of drawings inspired by the masters. Every day I have a huge collection because I teach art to adults, and I teach with modern high technology called the postcard. My students love that. I always tell them, we have high technology here, postcard. Whenever I go to a museum, I buy postcards, and so I have a huge collection of postcards. So
Do you try to recreate these pieces?
I am interpreting them. I'm trying to recreate them, but I also am interpreting them, and I'm trying to study from the artist that I'm working from. So that's what I'm working on now. I had just completed a whole year study of marks and circles, which has an abstract feel to it also.
Now, when you teach these adults, you're teaching them basic drawing, you're teaching them, I mean, do you have to know how to draw to go to a class of yours?
No, that's the beauty of it. You could, no, I'm teaching them drawing, you know.
So you're teaching them how to do it?
Yeah, I teach them drawing, and I just guide them, and they learn the vocabulary of drawing. We do contour drawing, gestural drawing. We learn about color value.
Can everybody do it?
Yes.
Really?
Everyone can draw. No,
I'm so
my
shocked
students
by
are,
that.
I have amazing students. I am really very fortunate. I have incredible students. And as a matter of fact, the first time I taught drawing with a Lakeland adult ed, I didn't think anybody would show up. I had 12 people show up. And so I taught basic drawing, and then over a period of time, they wanted to come back. So I just kept designing new drawing classes. I designed 5 drawing classes. And I have quite a few students that come back all the time. So I'm really excited by them.
That's so cool.
They teach me.
Yeah, well, being an educator myself,
Yes.
I think I learn more from my students than I teach them.
Exactly.
I can agree with that 100%.
Yeah, they totally teach me. It's just, you know, I'm amazed at what they do. Absolutely amazed.
So it's like learning a language or learning music
It
or
is.
learning anything
Exactly.
like that.
It is. It is a language. It's definitely a language. And they, I guide them, and we build on each week, and it's definitely a language. Yeah.
That's amazing. Okay, so
Yeah.
you're teaching drawing.
Yes.
Do you teach painting as well?
I teach, I help out. I substitute for anybody at the Putnam Arts Council.
Okay.
If somebody needs it, I help out with them, and
Okay.
I teach. I did teach, co-teach a couple of workshops with another artist, Jean DeMoses, at the Putnam Arts Council.
I know Jean.
And she and I taught drawing and painting in harmony. We taught some workshops such as perspective, color theory. We've done a couple of workshops.
And your
together.
education is in art?
Yes, I got my bachelor's degree from Pratt Institute.
Okay.
And I got my master's degree at the College of New Rochelle. I had done a lot of fine arts at Pratt and College of New Rochelle, and I found I needed more craft experience. And College of New Rochelle had a very good craft department at the time, although they now have a really good fine arts department too. So I went there for their craft department, and I ended up doing my master's in drawing. Believe it or not, in drawing.
So, okay, so we go back to our day. Let's talk about your day. So you
Okay.
start your day with 2 hours of drawing, and then what happens?
And then
How do you decide what you're going to work
Then
on?
I'm totally motivated. Then I'm just
you're
right
just in
there.
it.
I'm ready.
You're
and
in
I
it.
go into the studio. Well, I sort of begin first, and I clean up the studio. I leave the studio the day before the way it is, because everything has to dry. And so as soon as I get up, I clean up the studio. I want to. It's like going in and seeing a present. You know.
It's like Christmas morning, every morning.
Exactly. It's wonderful. So I go into the studio and I clean it up, and then I will, and then I just sit and draw for about an hour to 2 hours. It depends upon my day, how much I have to get done. And then I go into the studio, and I will sit and I will look at the work that I've worked on. And all of a sudden, one piece will hit my eye, and I'll say, well, this piece could have a little yellow in it, you know. So I will mix up a specific yellow, you know, I might, or green or something, and I'll mix up that, and I mix a lot of paint up. And then everything has that paint on it, that green. Every series has it, whether they want it or not. They have that green.
Because they speak to you.
Because
they
speak
I
to
understand
me.
that.
And
I
so
do.
this series will have, you know, but not every piece. So there might. So this one, it didn't seem to need green, you know. So I will put that on. I paint. As you can see, I kind of take art seriously.
Yes,
And because
it's your life. I can see
because-
that. It's encompassing every bit of your life.
Because I take it seriously, you know, you don't want it too dry, so you want to have fun. And I taught children, and they have a ball. So I said, let me have a ball too. So a lot of my work I paint with non-traditional painting tools. I use the brush. I definitely use the brush, but I also use other painting tools.
Like?
A potato masher. I was cleaning out my mother-in-law's house, and she had this gorgeous old potato masher. So, oh, this is a wonderful
most
line.
people would say, I can mash potatoes with these.
No. I have my own potato masher. So in my studio, I love the potato masher. It creates
Is
a
there any
wonderful
potato
line.
masher
No,
in here?
No, not
No?
in here. This one I use chopsticks.
Chopsticks?
Yes, I use it to create the lines here. I use chopsticks.
Okay.
These wonderful lines. I use sponges, and I'm trying to think some of the other things that I use. Bubble wrap, corrugated cardboard, plastic, a tennis ball,
Really?
cars, little toy cars.
Yeah, to run them over
To get the marks. I just find, and then what happens? People hear this and they start sending me things.
I was going to say, you now realize people are going to be saying, I
Yes.
have I don't know what, that I need to send to you to work with.
Yes. As you go visiting and they'll unpack something and all of a sudden, oh, I like that. Maybe could I have this packing thing? This will make a nice mark. Cardboard, using it in all different ways, creates so many nice lines, and so I use that.
You are an example of recycling.
Yes, I do. I use a lot of recycling. Yes, I do. I definitely. Yeah, I think it's important.
I think that's wonderful, and it gives it such depth and such.
Thank you.
It's so different than most things that you see. You can't create these with a brush.
Right. Right. Well, I did use a brush because there are layers. So putting the layer on, I might use a brush, and sometimes my brush is a broom. It's not necessarily the kind of brush you might think. I know you've seen artists, who have in the past used brooms. But there's a certain mark that you can get and a certain energy that you get when you put your whole body in versus just your arm. So when you are standing with a broom, you can get some very nice marks,
Very interesting.
So, and it can be painted faster, So,
Right.
So that's what. Sometimes when as I said, I put colors on top of layers on top of layers, they might not work.
Then what happens?
Then I will sit with it. So as I said, daily I come in and I'll just sit and study it, and I'll say, what does it need? And then, so I'll put another layer on. But I want the other layer under it to come through too. I don't want to cover the complete layer. So some of my paintings had lots of colors on it.
Okay.
I like to have lots of colors on it because
Gives you more to work with.
As I said, it gives me more, and as I said, the viewer then gets to really look at the work and see, just keep looking and seeing new things, I hope. And
to me, it's the kind of thing where you can look at for quite some time and find something new each time you see it.
Yes.
Yeah. So you obviously have been doing this a long time. Where have you shown? What have you?
Oh, I've had several solo shows with the Henrik Hudson Library in Montrose. I've shown at the Front Street Gallery. Shown through the Putnam Arts Council. I've shown in Delaware at the Rehoboth Art League. I've shown in Connecticut, in Ridgefield, Artists Guild. Yeah, I've shown.
So your work has been out there for a while.
It's been out there for a while, yeah.
Yeah.
Westchester Community College, I've shown. Yeah.
Really?
Yep. Yeah.
Who knew? Who knew?
It's a pleasure to be It's a pleasure to.
Yeah.
To
Do you see it that way still? Like it's still an honor to go into a gallery and show your stuff, and.
I'm humbled. I'm totally humbled. I'm thrilled. It's very exciting to be, and to show with other artists. Is a very exciting experience. This show that we're going to have, I'm going to be showing with another artist. Her name is Nicole Hughes, and so we're going to be showing together. And it's going.
And your work complements each other very nicely.
I did very nicely. Yeah, I think it's going to work out very well.
Yeah. Okay, so of course, being a teacher and you being a teacher, I have to lessons to learn. If you had a kid that was, constantly had their face in their sketchbook. I mean, where do you go from there? How do you get to this from that?
How do you
What is your advice to a parent if you see a kid who's really talented, or they think is really, who knows?
All children are really talented.
I love
they
that.
are. all children are really talented. They bring such joy. I love to watch the process. I have a granddaughter, and one of the things my daughter does is she has a huge sketchbook. And my granddaughter is 1.5, and she has large crayons, and she colors on this huge sketchbook.
And she makes her own art.
And I think that's an important part to the drawing process, is that you should have a sketchbook. I would encourage parents to have sketchbooks. Then I would encourage them to look out into the community and to see if there's any places that they can take their children to.
What's the right age to start training?
Training?
Like like taking lessons, like really learning beyond the crayon and the...
I don't know if we could say right age. I think it all depends. It's unique, individual age. When they start school, kindergarten or something like that, you know. And I think schools should have really good art programs. You know, my students, at least they loved art. I had a hard time getting them to stop working. You know,
How nice is that?
and I would forget too.
You get so caught up in the moment that you
I would totally forget it, and the teacher would come ready to take them, and I said, "Oh, I forgot." You know, I got into the flow of them creating. It was a lot of fun, but I would encourage parents, as I said, to get sketchbooks. They don't have to be expensive, and to date them, and just to encourage their children to draw of any time. I know coloring books are part of the growing up process, but I would encourage more plain paper, you know.
Without the lines.
Without the line. I would
Yeah.
I would encourage that, yes. And just be proud of what they do. Ask them, just talk to them about it, and see what is it, you know.
What's the story behind what they're doing?
What are you doing? You know, why did you choose that color? What, you know,
Yeah.
and compliment them, and not, you know, and just encourage it. I have some little children that live near me, and I love when they bring over their artwork to me, and I have them all over my refrigerator.
Aww.
Yeah. And then when they bring me new ones, I put them up on the bulletin board in the studio, so that I love them, love them.
That's wonderful.
Yes,
I think that there's just any time you can instill in somebody like a passion like that, it's just amazing.
It's important.
It is important, and you need to move away from only doing, you know, reading, writing, and arithmetic. You know, it's important to be creative.
Yes.
That's a side of kids that we don't really nurture as much as we
Yes,
should.
I think it's very important that they should have, you know, that we
Yeah.
should get, the art department should be a very important program for students.
Right now, I'm just looking. There's a beautiful picture up we have for you. Did you want to spend a minute just talking about it?
This is the collage piece that I was talking to you about.
Okay.
It's called Blue Door, and this one has more acrylic paint than it does. It has a whole different feeling than the one that we have here. This is a lot more acrylic paint and layers of paint applied with a wide variety. The potato masher is not on this one. You clearly will see the potato masher. And it's hidden in this one. This one.
We have a potato masher in this one?
I think this one is called Windy. I just recently finished this one, playing around with lots of color and interaction of textures and lines, and this one there's your potato masher.
There it is, in all its glory.
With the black lines, there's the potato masher. And there's my Passion of Red. Yeah, that had a lot of potato masher on it. I have a small potato masher and a large one, so it depends.
Will all these pieces be in the gallery?
Yes, this and several other ones. There
Great.
are some more similar to this and some more similar to that one.
Oh, that's
So,
terrific.
yeah,
I
so
can't wait to see the show come
I'm
together.
honored and thrilled to be part of the studio around the corner.
Thank you so
I
much.
have been to several openings of other artists, and I'm just thrilled to be part of it.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, it's going to be wonderful. I'm so excited.
Yes.
So just to let everybody know, your show is opening September, but we're going to stay away from Labor Day weekend because everyone should be having barbecues and being with their families.
Definitely.
So it's going to open September 8th,
Yes.
which is a Friday night, and then it'll run till the end of the month every Saturday. And we're actually going to close it into October. You got the first day of October
Good.
there as well.
Good, good,
I
good.
think that'll give everyone a chance to come out and see it.
And I hope they do.
I hope so too, because your stuff is really beautiful.
I would look forward to meeting everyone.
It's really beautiful, and I'm so glad that you're going to be able to do this.
Thank you very much, Judy.
And I look forward to all the other wonderful things that you're doing.
Thank you.
And hopefully we're going to have a website up soon.
Yes, we're going to have a website up very soon. It's in the works.
It's in the works.
It's in the works. It's a lot of work.
And, you know, things that seem so simple are really not.
That sort of happens in the evening, because during the process, the painting process, then try to get that website up.
Yeah,
it is
because I
coming
think
up.
that people really enjoy what you do, and I
Thank
think
you.
you're wonderful at it, and I think that you're very passionate and enlightening,
Thank you.
and I think you've got so much to offer. So
Thank
that's
you.
just so wonderful.
How thoughtful. Thank you very much.
Well, again, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
And we
What a
will
delight to have.
look forward to your opening.
Thank
and
you. Come out.
hopefully come out and see it.
Thank you again.
And thank you again for joining us. Again, if you want to know when the shows are going on at the gallery, you can go to culturalartsco.com, which is our website, and find out all the things that are happening. Thank you.